Hello students, I am V. Ellen Swarupini, lecturer from Sri Venkateswara College of Arts and Sciences, which is affiliated to Adikavi Nannaya University, Rajahmundry. Now I would like to discuss about 3rd BSc Biotechnology 5th semester 5B paper, that is Gene Expression and Recombinant DNA Technology. From this paper, I would like to discuss about the vectors topic from unit 4. Here, if you see vectors, these are cloning vehicles. We call them as simply cloning vehicles, and these are helpful in the transfer of gene of interest to a target cell. That's why, as these are helpful in the transportation process, we call them as cloning vehicles. Okay, these are nothing but small fragment of DNA molecules which will helpful in the transport of gene of interest.
Okay, most commonly used vectors are plasmids, cosmids, phase vectors and shuttle vectors. From these four, we discussed in the earlier classes about the plasmids and also about lambda phase vectors. Okay, so now let's just revise about plasmids, phase vectors, and we'll see about cosmids and shuttle vectors later. Okay, so here plasmids, these are small circular double stranded extra chromosomal DNA molecules present in bacterial cell. Okay, circular double stranded extra chromosomal DNA molecule which is present in bacterial cell, and we'll isolate these plasmids for our purpose. What is it? To transfer desired gene into a host cell or to a target cell. Okay, and these plasmids are almost made up of 1 to 200 kb length. Okay, and these particular plasmids are smaller in size, these will carry very less and limited number of genes. Very limited number of genes. Okay, and if you see the characteristics of these plasmid vectors, here size, copy number and genetic markers are the important characteristics of the plasmid vectors. So how these characters will help in the use of this plasmids as vectors? Coming to size, we all know plasmids are small in size. And the small size will help for easy uptake of this chimeric DNA into the host cell, and also due to this small size only we can easily isolate the plasmid without any damage. Okay, coming to copy number, this copy number is nothing but the number of copies of plasmid present in a bacterial cell. Number of copies of a plasmid present in a bacterial cell is called as copy number, and plasmid in any bacteria it should be present in multiple copies. So it is a characteristic of plasmid. Okay, excuse me. And third characteristic is genetic markers, presence of genetic markers, and these genetic markers will help for the selection of organisms that has recombinant DNA. Okay, and these plasmids must have its own origin of replication and regulatory gene for self replication. Okay, and these will have unique sites for restriction endonucleases, and these should not have any pathogenic property. It should not have any pathogenic property, and based on conjugative transfer, this particular plasmids are two types: conjugative plasmids and non-conjugative plasmids. Here only the difference is conjugative plasmids will transfer from one bacterium to another during conjugation, example F plasmid, whereas non-conjugative plasmids, this doesn't pass from one bacteria to other during conjugation process, example col E1 plasmid. Okay, so these are two types of plasmids based on conjugative transfer. Okay, and here based on the functional characteristics, this particular plasmids are 5 types: F plasmids, R plasmids, col plasmids, degradative plasmids, and virulence plasmids. Here F plasmid is nothing but fertility plasmid, and this particular F plasmid which is present in the bacteria, it will give a maleness characteristic to the bacteria, and the genes are known as TRA-genes. Okay, nothing but it will be transported as F plasmid. If you see, it is a conjugative plasmid. That means this F plasmid will be transferred from one bacterium to other during conjugation. So this particular transformation of plasmid from one bacteria to other bacteria is a maleness or male characteristic. Okay, that means bacterial plus cell will transfer this plasmid from that particular bacteria to the negative bacteria. It is achieved through TRA-genes. Example F plasmid is an example for conjugative plasmid. Okay, and the next one is R plasmid, resistance plasmid. Here resistant plasmid, this will contain genes which give resistance to bacteria against few antibiotics and heavy metals. Example PSC 101. PSC 101. This PSC 101 will show resistance towards tetracycline. Okay, and here next one is col plasmid. This col plasmid, they will code for the synthesis of bacterial toxin colcin. Okay, and this colcin will kill closely related strains of bacteria. Okay, example col E1, col B. Next one is degradative plasmid. These plasmids will degrade the toxic substances like toluene, xylene, salicylic acid, 2,4-D, etc. Here this degradative plasmid will produce few enzymes. These particular enzymes will degrade the toxic substances. And the last one is virulence plasmid. Best example PBr 322, and these particular plasmids, they will provide pathogenicity to bacteria. Okay, they will provide pathogenicity to the bacteria. Okay, and now let's see this PBr 322 as an example for these plasmids. Okay, it is an artificial plasmid, and this plasmid is mostly used for the gene transfer in E. coli. To transfer a gene to E. coli cell, this particular PBr 322 is used, and it is an artificial plasmid, and it is made up of two plasmids, that is PSC 101 and col E1. So based on by using these two plasmids, this is developed, and PBR means plasmid of Bolivar and Rodriguez. These are the scientists who developed this PBR 322 with the help of PSC 101 and col E1. Okay. So this is a circular double-stranded plasmid DNA with 4362 base pairs, and it will contain 2 selectable genes for tetracycline and ampicillin. These are tetracycline gene and ampicillin genes which shows resistance towards tetracycline and ampicillin. Okay, and this tetracycline gene will have 6 restriction enzyme sites, and ampicillin gene have 3 restriction enzyme sites. Okay, so and this particular PBr322 is a base plasmid for the in vitro construction of few artificially derived plasmid vectors like PUC8, PUC9, PUC10 and for plasmids. PUC here means plasmid of University of California. Plasmid of University of California. Okay. And here this is the diagram of PBr322. And the next one is bacteriophage vectors. So these bacteriophage vectors are the DNA of bacteriophages which are helpful, which are used as vehicles to carry desired gene to the host cell. Okay, and these phases will have icosahedral head with the genetic material package. Okay, so best example for bacteriophage vector is lambda phase bacteriophage vectors. Okay, lambda phase vectors. Okay, this lambda phase vectors are linear duplex DNA. Okay, that means these are not circular, these are in the linear form. Okay, and when treated with restriction enzymes, these will produce cohesive ends, and these cohesive ends are single stranded extensions with complementary base pairing to each other, and this single stranded extension is around 12 nucleotide length. Okay, and we call them as complementary sites or cos sites. Okay, complementary sites or cos sites. And these lambda phase vectors are made up of around 48,502 or 502 base pairs, and molecular weight is 32 into 10 to the power of 16 daltons. Okay, and these phase vectors can be constructed used to construct cloning vehicles, and these lambda DNA vectors are again two types, insertion vector and replacement vector. Coming to this insertion vector, we will insert the phase lambda phase DNA with a desired gene of interest. Okay, we will insert a gene of interest or desired gene in the lambda phase vector, and here if you see, replacement vector will replace the fragment of the phase DNA molecule. Okay, so here insertion vector is a phase DNA where the desired gene is inserted by cleaving the phase DNA at the one site. Okay, and it is derived vector developed from wild type of phase DNA. Here it will have one site for restriction enzymes, and phase DNA will be cut at one site with the help of other group of enzymes, and a small fragment of foreign DNA is inserted. This foreign DNA is nothing but the desired DNA. Okay, see the diagram. Phase DNA is taken, cut with restriction endonucleases, and a foreign DNA is inserted. And here in replacement vector, it is also a phase DNA where fragment is removed and replaced with the desired gene. Okay, and here this is also developed from wild DNA But here this particular replacement vector will have two regions for restriction endonucleases, and between two sites can be removed and a foreign DNA segment can be replaced. Okay, for both the tasks, two restriction endonuclease, two sites for restriction endonucleases were present. Okay, see the diagram. Okay, fragment is replaced with foreign DNA. Okay, now let's see cosmids. Here these cosmids are hybrid DNA formed by joining a plasmid and normal DNA. So while discussing about plasmids, what I have explained, this particular plasmid is a basic component for the PUC vectors and also for this cosmids. So, and this cosmid is a hybrid DNA which is developed from plasmid, and this plasmid is a base unit for cosmid and also for the PUC class of vector plasmids. Okay, so now let's see in detail about this cosmids. This plasmid is an artificial plasmid. Cosmid is an artificial plasmid containing cos sites of lambda DNA. So here lambda DNA's cos sites were added to the plasmid and an artificial cosmid was developed. Okay. So once you see the diagram of this cosmid, then you will get a better idea. Okay. If you can see the cos site here. Cos site means cohesive site, nothing but here cohesive site will be complementary cohesive sites will be produced, and amphisilin gene is present and origin of replication is present. Okay. So now let's see. Okay. This cosmid DNA is packed in capsid of lambda phase in vitro to form phase particles. Okay. This cosmid DNA will be packed in the lambda phase bacteria of lambda phase capsid to form in vitro phase particles. Okay, and this cosmid has an origin of replication, a selectable marker, and gene cloning sites of the plasmid DNA. Gene cloning sites of the plasmid DNA. And here no structural or regulatory gene of lambda DNA are present in cosmids. Okay, here only the lambda phase cos sites were present, and also selectable markers are present with origin of replication. Okay, but regulatory genes or structural genes which are related to lambda phase DNA are not present here. Okay, hence there is no lysis and integration of plasmid DNA into host cell. Example for this is Col E1 plasmid. And this is constructed for the first time by scientists Collins and Horn in the year 1978. The scientists Collins and Horn, both they worked on this cosmids and they finally combined plasmid and lambda DNA cos sites to develop this cosmid. Okay, they named this new vector as cosmid. And if you see advantages of these cosmids, These can take larger DNA fragments, whereas if you see plasmids, these are very good vectors, but they can only take a small fragment of desired gene. But coming to these cosmids, these can take large DNA fragments than plasmids. Okay, and these are used to establish gene libraries of lower and higher organisms. Okay, we can construct gene libraries with the help of cosmids for both lower and higher organisms. And gene cloning through cosmids help in study of nonsense sequence in the genome of organisms. Okay, by cloning these, by using these cosmids, by gene cloning, we can study nonsense sequences in a organism's genome. Okay, we can undergo genomic study of an organism for identification of nonsense sequence by using these cosmids. Best example is PIB8. Okay, and it is constructed from the plasmid PBR322 and cosends of lambda DNA, and it is around 5.4 kilo base pair. Okay, see, it has an origin of replication. It will contain a origin of replication and amphicillin resistant gene, and this amphicillin resistant gene is derived from PBR322. It is derived from PBR322. Okay, and a foreign DNA of about 45 kb can be inserted. So here 45 kb DNA, 45 base pair DNA can be easily inserted in BAM-H1 restriction site of the cosmid. So here BAM-H1 restriction site, in the BAM-H1 restriction site of this cosmid, we can easily insert 45 base pair length DNA fragment or 45 base pair length desired gene. Okay, and the cosmid is packed into lambda phase to form a infective phase particle which delivers its DNA into E. coli while infecting the cell. Okay, so by the infection process, by this pathogenic character, this particular cosmid is packed into the lambda phase, and this will infect the E. coli cell, and during its infection it will release this particular desired gene into the E. coli. Okay, so this is the major concept. Here this is the PIB8 cosmid which will carry amphicillin resistant gene. Okay, now let's see about shuttle vectors. These shuttle vectors the plasmid cloning vectors that can replicate in two different organisms called shuttle vectors. Okay, these plasmid cloning vectors, they can replicate in two different organisms. That means the plasmids which can replicate in two different organisms are specially called as shuttle vectors. Okay, so here it will have two different origin of replication sites. If you see the diagram, this is the diagram of shuttle vector PEB10. Okay, it has two origin sites. If you observe, it contains origin of replication in Bacillus subtilis and also for the origin of replication for E. coli. Okay, that means when it enters E. coli, it will it will be replicated from this site of origin, and if it is in Bacillus subtilis, it will be replicated from this origin site. Okay. So here this particular shuttle vector will have two different origin of replication sites, and both are specific for their host. Okay, this origin of replication of Bacillus subtilis will not act in E. coli, whereas origin of replication in E. coli will not act in Bacillus subtilis. So these are specific, host specific. They replicate in two different hosts which are known as biofunctional vectors. Okay, and these shuttle vectors are best examples are PHP14, PEB10, PHP3 and PEB10. So these are the important shuttle vectors, and they replicate in both Bacillus subtilis and Escherichia coli. Okay, now let's take PEB10 as best example, and like this plasmids, it is a circular double stranded plasmid, and it is around 8.9 kilo base size. It is 8.9 kilo base pairs. Okay, that means it is also a larger vector, and it will also take little larger amount of desired gene when compared to plasmid. Okay, so and it has two selectable markers, they are for ampicillin and kanamycin. Okay, it will have selectable markers for ampicillin and kanamycin resistant genes, and the amplification gene is derived from PBR322. Amplification site is derived from PBR322. Okay, and it has origin of replication for this E. coli from plasmid. Origin of replication for replication of the plasmid in E. coli. And also this kanamycin gene is derived from PUB110. Okay, as this ampicillin gene derived from PBR322, this kanamycin gene is derived from PUB110. Okay, and it has another origin of replication that switches on replication in Bacillus subtilis. And the desired gene is first inserted into PEB10. Okay, desired gene is first inserted into PEB10. Cheppandi sir. Okay, here origin of replication which is meant for Bacillus subtilis will work only in the Bacillus subtilis, and origin of replication meant for E. coli will only work in the Escherichia coli. So this is how this particular PEB10 will work, and here the desired gene is first inserted into PEB10 to construct recombinant DNA, and this is introduced into the E. coli cells. Okay, so first it will be introduced into the first, that means this rDNA will be developed using this PEB10 and what will happen next? It will be introduced into E. coli cells. Okay, and recombinant E. coli culture is treated with chlorophenicol to increase the copy number. Copy number will be increased with the help of treating that particular E. coli culture with chlorophenicol. Okay, by treating with chlorophenicol, copy number, that means number of plasmid copies will be increased in that particular bacterial cells. Okay, and this copy number will be increased in PEB10 by treating with chlorophenicol in E. coli cells. Okay, and here the amplified rDNA is isolated. The amplified rDNA is isolated, purified and introduced into Bacillus subtilis for transformation. Okay. So, in the second step, what we are going to do? We are again introducing this rDNA. We are going to isolate, purify and introducing this into again Bacillus subtilis for transformation. First what we did? We have inserted a desired gene into the PEB10 first, and we introduced this to the E. coli cell. And then we treated that E. coli culture with chlorophenicol, and we increased the copy number of PEB10. And after we isolated this amplified rDNA, we isolated, purified and again we introduced that into Bacillus subtilis for desired gene transformation. Okay, and again the transformants are screened and mass cultured for the expression of cloned genes, cloned genes. So these transformants will be screened for the expression of cloned genes, whether the desired gene is properly transformed or not, will be checked by the expression shown by those cloned genes. Okay, and shuttle vectors are used to shuttle a gene between two different hosts for the desired expression. So that's why they named it as shuttle vectors. Okay, and if you see the diagram here, it will have ampicillin gene, kanamycin gene and origin of replication in Bacillus subtilis, origin of replication in E. coli. So this is how all these vectors like plasmids, cosmids, bacteriophage vectors, shuttle vectors will be helpful in the transfer and expression transfer and the identification of the expression of the desired gene. We can easily transfer a gene of interest or a desired gene into another organism using all these vectors. Okay, so these vectors play a very important role in the genetic engineering to develop new organisms with desired genes, or genetically modified organisms can be developed using all these different techniques and different types of vectors. Okay, if you have any doubts, please contact me, and please listen to the class for twice or thrice, because we have many disturbances today, and sorry for all the disturbances, and have a happy learning. Thank you, students.